One of the projects that I've been working on in the off season is I've decided that I'm going to target coon this year. Normally I'm a beaver and otter trapper, and I don't really go after coon, but with the prices up this year, I think I'm going to go ahead and do it. A lot of the areas that I trap are suburban type areas, and so I'm going to be using some dog-proof traps for coon this season. And anybody that's used dog proofs before know that your catch ratio goes down compared to a blind set or a leg hold or something like that, because the coon not only has to find your set, but he's got to be willing to stick his paw down in the barrel of the dog proof and actually trip the trigger trying to get the bait out. And it's a lot easier to catch them with a leg hold, because all they have to do is walk down the trail and step on it. They don't actually have to work your set. So there's a couple of things. Since coons normally travel in family units and in groups, I am going to be doing some pre-baiting this year. And what I'm doing here is I'm making some coon feeders, and guys that run coon dogs make these a lot to concentrate the coon in a particular area so they can train their dog, let their dogs out, and have a good idea that coons are going to be in the area. And what I'm doing is I'm simply going to concentrate the coons for trapping season. And what this is just a plain old 5-gallon bucket, and I've taken a 1.5 inch PVC pipe and cut about 4 inches of it off and inserted it into the bottom of the bucket, and then glued it to make sure that it doesn't come out. And the way you insert this is pretty simple. You just take a torch or a heat gun and you heat up the area where you want the pipe to go. And it doesn't take long on these buckets. These buckets will start to melt in just a few seconds. It takes, maybe 10 seconds to get the bucket heated up and to liquefy. And then all you do is take your hand and stick the pipe straight through it. Once you do that and the pipe is through the bucket, it's going to take it a few seconds for it to harden back up and to hold your pipe in place. And so you basically need to stand there and hold the bucket and hold the pipe where you want it for a minute, maybe 2 or 3. I find that in hot weather it helps to have a fan blowing on the area that you're working on. That helps cool the plastic off. And sometimes you can tell the composition of these buckets is not uniform, because sometimes it'll seal up real nice around the pipe, sometimes it won't. Sometimes it'll leave gaps and what have you. And so I just take some Gorilla Glue and I run a bead all the way around that after it's cooled off. And you can see on the inside of the pipe, you can see how it was pushed through right there, and you can see the remnants of the plastic. But at this point, all you do is fill this with corn or sweet feed or whatever bait you're going to be using. You'd put a top on it, you put the lid on it, and then you would use the handle and hang it from the tree or wherever you want it. And what will happen is the coon comes along, and of course he uses his hands to feed himself. So he's going to stick his hand in that pipe and he's going to start pulling the corn out, pulling the feed out. And this is doing two things really. This is not only pre-baiting and bringing the coons to your location, but it's training them to stick their hands down in this barrel, in this pipe. And your dog-proof trap is almost the same diameter of that. And so the way I see it, you're not only pre-baiting them, but you're preconditioning them to get their food out of a pipe. And of course, when you come in and set your dog proofs in that area, you're going to catch them. So anyway, this is something that you can make. I had these buckets laying around. They were left over, but if you don't want to go and buy them at the store and then put a hole in them like this, just be on the lookout when you see them on the side of the road or by dumpsters or what have you. They don't have to be clean, they don't have to be good, they just have to be able to have a lid and stick a pipe through them. And I find having a handle is good so that you can hang it from a tree if you wish. But anyway, I'm going to start setting these out in just a little while longer. Our trapping season opens in November, and so it's getting down to time to have your stuff ready. So this is the kind of stuff you need to be thinking about and need to be doing now. You need to have everything in order, everything ready to go, everything planned out. I've got all the locations that I'm going to put coon feeders out. I've got them marked on a map. I already know how I'm going to get in, how I'm going to get out, how I'm going to check them. Everything is all planned out. So anyway, I hope this was of use.